Welcome to Leigh Dickey TV. Hit subscribe to follow along with the fun. Now let's get on to today's video. How I would have written out Shalita Grant and the Sonja Percy character from NCIS New Orleans. I tell you how, next. Alright, so how I would write out Shalita Grant and the Sonja Percy character from NCIS New Orleans. Now, if my memory serves me right, what actually happened was Shalita Grant and the Sonja Percy character left in, I think her last credited episode was season 4, episode 19. She was a recurring character, and, you know, Shalita Grant had a recurring role on season 1 of NCIS NOLA, but it was bumped to a main cast role from seasons 2 through her eventual exit towards the end of season 4. To my recollection, if my memory serves me right, the Sonja Percy character left towards the end of season 4 after asking Scott Bakula's Dwayne Pride permission to work undercover. Now, I can't remember this part, whether it was with her old outfit at the ATF or the DEA, because one of her friends, her childhood friends, had gotten involved with sort of this major drug ring of sorts, and Dwayne Pride, Scott Bakula, granted said permission, and then the Sonja Percy character and Shalita Grant have never been seen or heard from again in terms of the NCIS folklore and or storylines. So that, to my knowledge and to my memory, if it serves me right, is how Shalita Grant and the Sonja Percy character exited the series. Now, in terms of how I would have done it, I would have played on the tension of the Chris LaSalle character played by Lucas Black and Shalita Grant's Sonja Percy, because they had been building that since the Sonja Percy character debuted in season 1, and the Chris LaSalle, his original love interest, was killed off towards the end or in the season 1 finale of NCIS New Orleans. So they've been building that tension between the Sonja Percy character and the Chris LaSalle character, again played by Lucas Black, since the sort of series inception in season 1. Now, I would have played off that to, you know, have the Shalita Grant exit along with the Sonja Percy character, just because it would have made it more, I don't want to call it heart-wrenching, but I think it would have made for a more compelling storyline, and I'll get to that in just a second. So like I said, the producers and writers had been building this tension between the Sonja Percy character played by Shalita Grant and Lucas Black's Chris LaSalle characters since the show's inception in season 1, after or even before the Chris LaSalle, Lucas Black's on-screen original love interest was killed off, I think towards the end of season 1 or in the season 1 finale of NCIS New Orleans. Now, playing off that to, you know, facilitate Shalita Grant's exit, I would have both the Chris LaSalle character and the Sonja Percy character in a relationship by now. I would have probably put them into a relationship sometime towards the end of season 2, build on to more of it in season 3, and then, you know, leading up to, I mean, you go through the trials and tribulations like any other relationship would, whether it was on a TV show or in real life. Have them, you know, just be in this relationship as partners, as sort of like romantically involved as well, and, you know, have Shalita's Sonja Percy kind of confide in Lucas Black's LaSalle, like, hey, I'm thinking about leaving NCIS for this undercover operation, and have them both torn over it, but, you know, have them have this giant blow up, but then have LaSalle come to his sort of senses and say, hey, if this is something that Shalita Grant, Sonja Percy wants to do and feels like she has to do, then who am I to get in her way? And sort of say, yeah, it's okay, but have her sort of like be really distant at this point. Now, when I say be distant, like when I say I want sort of Shalita Grant, Sonja Percy to be distant from Lucas Black's LaSalle, don't return his texts, phone calls, avoid him at the office, give him the cold shoulder, even when they're riding together, right, to these sort of scenes. Just give him nothing. Be upset. Show that you're upset, right? Have them fight like any normal couple would. Have them just not be at each other's throats, but just be at odds, right? Like, it's simple, like, work-life balance. You know, like, LaSalle doesn't want Percy to go because they're in a relationship and he loves her, and, like, they love each other, obviously. But, you know, have Shalita Grant, Sonja Percy look at it as kind of selfish because Lucas Black's LaSalle wants her to stay and sort of not help out a friend of hers, try to get her out of this mess, and then sort of broaden her federal agent wings, if you will. And then, you know, have them sort of finally come to their senses, like have LaSalle sort of like, look, I've been selfish, and then Sonja Percy, Shalita Grant say that, you know what, I have been too, but, like, I still have to do this. And then just table it there for a sec, or like for a scene or so, and then towards the end of said episode, when Shalita Grant, Sonja Percy finally leaves, I would have, you know, Lucas Black as Christopher LaSalle sort of call her, text her, get a hold of her somehow, and just be like, hey, can you meet me at the office? Because there's something I want to ask you. So now I would have Shalita Grant as Sonja Percy kind of have that sense of wonder, but show up to meet LaSalle at the NCIS New Orleans field office, and then have them be the only ones there at first, right? And then have the sort of like the office lights set this sort of mood glow, like set the mood, have that mood lighting in there, because they have like the way it's lit anyway in this series, like in The Office when it's set at night, there's sort of like this orange sort of hue, have that going, and then have LaSalle kind of just be like, look, I know I've been selfish, have Sonja Percy come back like, yeah, I have too, and then LaSalle just, look, I love you, I want to make this work, I want to be with you, so I have to ask you. At this point, have him get down on one knee, cut to a shot of LaSalle reaching for a ring box in his pocket. Have him get down on one knee, and then cut to a wider shot, including the two of them, right? Have LaSalle open the box, right? Cut to a shot of the ring, cut back to a shot of the two of them, and then have him ask the question, will you marry me? At this point, you cut to a shot of Shalita Grant as Sonja Percy and have her crying because A, it's a happy moment, but B, have her crying because she's sad, because her response would be, look, I love you, LaSalle, but I can't right now. And then just have her kind of place her hands on his shoulders, look at him, cradle his face, give him one final kiss, have her still crying, and then have her backpedal towards the door. And then as soon as she gets sort of towards the exit, have her turn around and run out, right? Just to sort of show that she is exiting the series and the show. Cut back to a shot of Lucas Black as Chris LaSalle holding the ring, sort of despondent, confused, not sure what to do, and then kind of have the entire NCIS field, like New Orleans field office, so Scott Bakula, Rob Kirkovich, CCH Ponder, like everybody on the cast, come out and just be like, oh, like have them ready to surprise Shalita Grant as Sonja Percy, but then, you know, have Shalita Grant as Sonja Percy exit and just kind of leave everybody a bit despondent. And then that's basically how I would do it, you know, until a later date when I would eventually bring her back to get to Lucas Black's character exit, and we will get to that in a future episode, but that is how I would handle Shalita Grant and the Sonja Percy exit from NCIS New Orleans. This wraps up another video. I have been Leigh Dickey. Thank you for watching. Please comment, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave us a 5-star rating and review on your favorite podcast app and player of choice for both my podcasts, the Beats and Speaks podcast and Yo Nostalgia. Links to those shows are in the description. Again, please comment, like, share, and subscribe. I have been Leigh Dickey. This wraps up another video, and I am signing off. Thanks again for watching. We will talk to you later. Take care. Peace. Thanks for tuning in to Leigh Dickey TV. New episodes are available every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Subscribe to follow along with the fun.